All right, the Reds, it is Talking Reds. Friday's Talking Reds, and it is Friday, so let's bring some Friday to the occasion. Liverpool are playing Manchester City this weekend in a big, massive showdown, a big thing that'll get built up massively, Neil, all over Sky and all over the newspapers, and rightly fucking so.
Well, absolutely. So I'm all over this. Like, I still don't think what Liverpool and Manchester City have done across the last 3 seasons still hasn't got the requisite respect. And there's loads of reasons, and both teams, and there's loads of reasons why. So with City, there's the Guardiola factor, there's all the money, but to still get 100 points was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. They follow it up with 98 and they show so much character against us. They have that big win against us in the January. And I think that almost doesn't help. Like, if that game had been in April, people would talk about it, and literally everything else goes exactly the same way. Every result's the same. People would say it was one of the great title races if that game was in April. But because that game comes in January, it's almost disconnected from the end of the season because it's so far back. But it is one of the great title races. It's just that no one lost. Everyone won every week. And then we do what we do, which is we take on this team, Pep Guardiola, all the money, and we knock them off the mountain. We absolutely do them. We vanquish them. It's huge, this. It is as big as any old, last weekend before the Man United-Arsenal game, my God, were they rolling back the years?
You were, yeah.
They were doing the full hit, rolling back the years. And the
Pizzagate, the full hit.
Oh, the full hit, Keane, Keogh, rah! Yeah. Which is still one of my favourite things ever in footy, to be fair. But they did the full hit. But the point is, this game is as big as any United-Arsenal game ever was. So they should go massive on it, but it should be out of the respect for what these two teams have done and how brilliant they are. And the idea that, at the minute, they're both a bit mortal in a way that they haven't looked at times during those seasons. Us with no Van Dijk, and the fact that we got whacked 7-2 at Villa, which we still can't forget about. You don't get to just sort of cross that one off early. Them 5-2 against Leicester, and in general not being great for a period of time.
No Aguero.
But all of that said, it's likely to have it's not going to decide the title, and the manager said that, and he's right. But it's likely to have a bearing on where the title ends up. And I think that that's massive, and I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great, and in these current times when we're not all getting to enjoy ourselves as much as we'd like, what a footy match to have on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you've seen it yesterday. Neil was on Sky having a living room backwards and forwards with a Manchester City fan.
I forgot I'd done that then. Yeah. I was like, was I on Sky? Oh yes, I was. Yeah.
Neil won. The lad seemed really taken aback when you were basically praising City, and he was like, "Oh, wasn't expecting this." Yeah, Liverpool are quite good.
Always killing with kindness. I'm from the Bob Paisley school of toffee. Just keep giving them toffee and see where they end up.
Jurgen Klopp has done his press conference. He's confirmed that Thiago will not play, which is a bit of a blow because it's starting to feel like a bit of a dream that he played for us, isn't it?
It's like it's the most. I'm trying to think of it's a bit like you go on holiday to a cool place, but there's like the dream hotel. And you get one night in the dream hotel bar or something, like you pass it and someone says, "Do you want to come in here?" You get you on the guest list, you're in. It's amazing. You see the pool. You get in again. Oh my God, how's this happened? It's absolutely phenomenal. And then you think, right, next year we'll book the whole holiday there. Money, no objects. We'll sort it out. And then they tell you the hotel's been closed. Can't get in. You're like, this is ridiculous. This fella is, why can't we just watch him play? Just want to watch him play for 90 minutes.
That's all it is. Yeah. Really want to watch him play again. Really want to see him. He's cool as fuck and a boss footballer, and he's ours. And we can't play him.
Do you think they are thinking with him? Listen, we just take our time, and then from when we get back after the international break from Leicester, he's just sorted. Because there might have been a bit of he goes dead deep in Europe with Bayern Munich, so they might be nervous about that. On top of the fact that he gets whacked by Richarlison, all of that, you think they're just sort of thinking to themselves, you know what? We want this fella for 3 years. We want him for the rest of this season. Let's just not take chances.
Yeah, I do think there's maybe a bit of that, and I wonder as well with the international break whether it's a bit of a, if you don't play him against City, you can sort of say, he's still recovering, and therefore he doesn't go on international duty. Whereas if you play him and he's only 70-80% or whatever, then he goes away, then you risk, re-injuring and all that. So I think there's probably something in that. More positively, Matip. Keita and Tsimikas, that was he's going to play like, but they've all trained, they're all ready, they're all available for selection. Jota was for some reason mentioned or asked about, and Jurgen said he's fine, that's good.
There was a bit of weirdness, so I only noticed this for the first time when I was doing the image thing with the propaganda photos, and in there one of the subtitles said he went off injured. So I don't know whether or not what got past to the press was that when he was subbed, he was off with a knock, he wasn't just off. So maybe he just got a really mild knock or something, and that was in the end sort of filtered out. So that might be why. Listen, let's not be messing about here. I'm pleased Tsimikas might be on the bench. Really quite happy that Keita might be able to be involved. I might have me top off about Matip being fully available, and that's not to be disrespectful to either Williams or Phillips. And I think both will play a role between now and Christmas. I think both will get more games, but I think Big Joel, having him in for this one next to Gomez, just that extra level of experience where you don't feel like you're compromising overtly. For me, I think it's absolutely massive, and I've done not just the thing with your man there from City. I did a City podcast yesterday as well, to Blue Moon. They were desperate for it to be Williams or Phillips, desperate. Yeah, and they were like, so how would you rate Matip's chances there, Neil? And I'm like, 100% will start, lads. And they were like, right, we thought it was, no. I said he could have started, I think he could have started Tuesday night, and they actually say, the manager says, doesn't he, 7 or 8 days he's been in full training for.
Yeah, he's on the bench, wasn't he, the other night, so... he was there as a break glass.
I think with him, like for instance, he just gets dropped into the derby, Gareth, and I thought he was excellent, in the derby, but I think there's a problem with him at the minute where Liverpool just don't know he's going to recover. And I think it's a really weird thing now as a player, and I think that maybe Liverpool, because it's interesting, the manager also says, and there's 14 days after this one as well. So I wonder what the thinking with him is, listen, give him this one and we can see what the recovery is like this time as well. If you can only do 1 game a week, great. But 1 game a week right now, you'd take it. We could do with 1 game a week.
Absolutely. Well, we've all woken up today in Liverpool knowing that we can go and get coronavirus tests regardless of whether we're displaying symptoms or not. There is a city-wide mass testing scheme now in place. I spoke to Matt Ashton, the Director of Public Health in Liverpool, about the mass testing, about why it's in Liverpool, about why we should all get involved in it, and why it's an opportunity for the city. So here's a clip from the interview with Matt.
So, look, I've been a season ticket for 37, 38 years. I went and saw some amazing football, when I first started, and obviously we've had a bit of a dip, and then we're doing amazing football again. I can't wait to get back inside of Anfield, and I can't wait to see the lads playing incredible football and knocking it out of the park. And you're absolutely right. This is one of the ways that allows us to do this. So this is about trying to identify everybody in the city who's got the virus and cutting those chains of transmission, but doing it in a really short period of time. So currently, if you've got symptoms, you're asked to go and get tested and you get your results. And if you're positive, you're asked to self-isolate for 10 days. The trouble is, we know there's lots of people who've got the virus, but don't know they've got it. They haven't got the usual symptoms. They haven't got the fever, the cough, the loss of sense of taste and smell. They've got it, the virus, but they don't know they have. And what that means is they are spreading the virus through that city. It's not their fault. They don't know they've got it, but that is exactly what's happening. So by doing this, we can track where the virus is. We can help people to understand whether they're positive or negative. And if they're positive, then they self-isolate, and then they're done. They're done then. They can get on with their lives. We break those chains of transmission. But the flip side of this, and this is the point you're getting to, if you test negative, if we know by using this technology, by repeat testing, that somebody is test negative, then the opportunities for them are potentially brilliant. If we get the policy changes behind this, and obviously we have to do the pilot and we have to work with government to do it, but if you get the policy changes behind this, that could allow us to go out for dinner, go to the pub with our mates, or go and watch our team play football. And I know that's where I want to be, and I'm sure loads of other people want to be there as well.
Okay, that is part of the interview we did with Matt Ashton. Big Red, as you probably heard there on that clip. A footy fan like the rest of us wants to get back to the grounds like the rest of us, and that is one of the reasons why we want to try and all engage with this and get something like a normal life. I'm booked in myself, 5:30 today, Park Road in Torquay. You went before?
Yeah, sort of. The lad who did me said, are you from the Anfield rap? And I was like, yeah. I mean, he didn't do me, he sort of advised me on how to do it, and it was very important, dead quick. You know, because they're only limiting how long you can get in, and we were one of the first in. It was dead quick, absolutely flew through, to be honest with you. Was worried it might, be big queues or anything like that, but it wasn't. It was really smooth, and it looks like people are taking it up. Also, I think there's a general relaxation around the areas that aren't specifically within Liverpool. So we live in South Sefton, and my wife's gone and she's got sorted this morning. Now it says it'll take a little bit longer to get the results back, but she's gone in and there was no questions asked. The other thing as well, when you fill it in, is that, I'm not saying people take the piss or anything like that, but people we all want to do this and we all want this to work. Yeah. And I think that there's an argument, just go and fill it in a bit, sign it up if you're in Liverpool or the surrounding areas, and if you do work in town, and feel free to have work in the city, be pretty broad. I mean, I'm basically sorting public policy out here. I would be pretty broad in your own mind and just go for it, and then from there you'll get the information and the data. My position on it is, just know either way, and then while it's ongoing, I'll go again, in a week or so, if it's allowed to go and do it, I'll just go again, because the big thing I want to know is just genuinely with reference to seeing people and loved ones and being in the vicinity of them. That for me, forget anything else. Listen, I don't think we're all going to be, I'm not going to have 18 around my Christmas dinner table. Yeah. I don't think we're getting we're not going to be at the third round of the FA Cup. I don't think any of that's the case. I've got to be really honest. But for me, it's just to have that security of knowing when I go and see my mum or anything else, to know, well, up to this point, I know that this was the case. And I think that's everything.
It is everything. I mean, I go and see my 97-year-old nan every week, and, every time I go and step through the door, it's on my mind, like, am I risking passing it on to her here? Yeah. I don't give her a kiss anymore, and I've given her a kiss all my life, that type of thing. And, so the idea of getting some peace of mind later today appeals to me, and also obviously the idea that Liverpool maybe, just maybe, can be put in a different tier, the other side of this national lockdown, and help some businesses in the city, because we're massively reliant on service industry in this city, tourism, bars, etc., and they're all just taking a huge hit.
Yeah, and look at the way the bar owners, we know we're friendly with someone, that if you watch the Anfield rap, there's Rob and Paul, but there are others as well who come and do some bits with us at times, and they're all desperate to see it succeed. Yeah. And I think I understand scepticism around the government in general. I think it's perfectly healthy. I think it's a good thing to have on the whole, and I think that there's lots of aspects to this that's obviously been really badly handled, and at times sort of allows a situation where suspicion is created. And I don't think that's just specifically this. I think that goes back across public health and health policy for decades, literally decades. So I take all that on board all the time, but ultimately there is no way home which isn't the science. There is just no other way home which isn't the science. We've got the university, we've got the Tropical School of Medicine, we've got great public health officials who are committed to this. And basically, it's like saying that you don't believe that they're doing the jobs properly. They're doing the jobs properly, and they're doing them to the very best of their ability. It's a matter of treating those people who are from this city in good faith, the people at the university and the people in public health.
Yeah, do watch that with Matt. He come across really, really well, explains it in really simple terms as well. And as I say, he's a Red himself, and he's also got some healthy views, I think, about the government. I think he says something like in there, they can't even sort out an Excel spreadsheet, so what are they going to do with your facts and figures? Anyway, the footy.
I'll hold this up quick because...
Oh yeah, we've got a new t-shirt.
No, so this is the new t-shirt, but I'm using it as a jumping off point, the Tellers Hendo shirt. So what's dead interesting, I think, for this game against City is, let me know what you think, midfield's going to be absolutely massive. We haven't got Thiago, they have got De Bruyne, but we've got our lads, Wijnaldum, Henderson, possibly...
I just seen Wijnaldum.
Sorry?
I just seen Wijnaldum, yeah.
Looking well?
He looked brilliant, yeah.
I bet you did.
He was with his missus just by the Liver buildings, just there taking a few photos. And yeah, when you do the double take and you're like, he looks great, doesn't he? Yeah. He just looked boss. He had a big smile on his face. He looked ready to take on Manchester City.
Well, I think midfield's going to be massive. So they'll probably pick Rodri, De Bruyne and Gundogan or Bernardo Silva, I think. I could be wrong. And they're all wonderful footballers, and we've got to be really clear about that, especially De Bruyne and whether it's Gundogan or Bernardo Silva. But for me, I think De Bruyne is technically incredible. He's a creative fulcrum. He's a force of nature, and I think he's really, really impressive. For me, though, the captain's absolutely massive on Sunday in every single way. The way in which he sets a tone, sets a tempo, sets a set of values every single time he steps onto the pitch every day in training. And for me, it feels Sunday like it's Henderson's day in a really strange way. I think he's due one in terms of something in front of goal, but not so much that. I think he's due just sort of saying, no, this is what we're about today. This is how front foot we're going to be. What I'm asking you is this: how much do you want to see him leave one in on someone early?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I thought it was great in the week, the European game, in that, you know, a lot of people were moaning that, you know, you didn't have the pumped-in crowd noise because it was a European away, and they obviously just hadn't sorted it out. They didn't have a lad to do it. But it meant that you could hear them. Yeah. It meant that you could hear them a lot more, and, you know, a lot of focus on Klopp and the fact that you could hear him banging on, but you could hear Henderson all the way through, just guiding the team everywhere, back, forwards, you go there, you go there, you go there. And, you know, he is a leader. He's 100% a leader. We've missed him when he's not been there. He looks to be, as you say, I feel the same, that he's sort of on the precipice of something. He looks like he's fired up, he's ready for a City.
It was around this time last season he scores the one at Tottenham. So when we're 1-0 down and he gets to come out second half and we're absolutely fly at them and he gets the goal. And it was around this time last season, literally in the calendar year, it was around then that happens. And I've got it in my mind that he's sort of just due a bit of a being able to give it the big one in front of a camera in some way. In terms of what I think is really interesting with him, there'll be a lot of things where people will say his captaincy's come on as we've got better. I think there's something in this though where I think he understands exactly what the manager wants, and he's just grown older. He's got more football experience now, and I think that's a massive part of this. Like, he's directing them all the time, as though he's sat in on every session with Klopp ever on how we tactically set this team up, and that won't be the case. But to me, that's the thing. He looks like he's so embedded in this is how we do things, so you know where you need to be, and I'm just going to remind you that that's where you're going to be. And I think it's amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing with Klopp and his press conference today, and the other night as well, he's a bit annoyed by almost Jota being turned into a negative. So, you know, he started fantastically for Liverpool. He scored a hat-trick the other night. He was absolutely superb. But it's immediately twisted on its head and, well, what about Firmino then? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And in the press conference, it sounds to me at least that he's a bit annoyed there. He's saying, I'm not wasting my time on talking about how good Bobby is. I don't have to say one word about him. I don't care. He's a difference maker in games and so on. He scored 5 goals against Manchester City.
Yep.
He likes playing against Manchester City.
And he scored at least 4 of them in their ground. So he has scored 4 of them in their ground.
Yeah, I mean, he was part of that performance, wasn't he? That was almost like the stamp on the start of
we were there. We were one of the way with the Etihad. It was brilliant, wasn't it? What a night that was.
Yeah.
So no, I am fine with him starting Firmino to the point that I would probably start Firmino. I think that with Jota, he's got tons of time. I mean, he's 23 for one. He's got a Liverpool career now. You know, he's going to get started at the Etihad playing for Liverpool. That's in his future. I think for this one. But also, I think there's something else as well, which is it's 1-1 on 60. Who would you rather the sub was? And I think there's definitely an element of that as well. Yeah, not least because of the pace, because he's quicker than Firmino, because he'd shake it up, but also there'd be something that would happen to those Manchester City players where something would make them go, he got a hat-trick midweek. Or we got a hat-trick midweek. And I think that's worth thinking about. So for me, I would start Firmino for a variety of reasons. But one also is that I just think sometimes, you know, you've got to go with what's brought you here as well. And that's not to say that Firmino gets endless numbers of chances, but I just think that I want to see him be given the opportunity to just go and get another goal at the Etihad, go and score one more goal at the Etihad, and then go, you know, and build from there. I think that my big thing with him, Gareth, with Firmino is if he gets an early chance, I just think it's important he takes it, and if he gets an early opportunity around the penalty area, it's important he contributes. That's what I think he's been struggling with, and then I think what you're actually seeing during games when he doesn't do the first thing well, I think you see his performance begin to disintegrate a little bit. And my big concern with Firmino is just that he's in his own head a little bit. I'm not worried about the manager. I'm not worried about his teammates. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about him. And I think that I think one of the things that happens to him, for instance, in the derby, is he gets a decent early opportunity and he doesn't convert. And I think that then that just sort of stays with him. The same things happen to Aston Villa when he stinks the gaff out. And so all I want is that for whatever happens early for him to do it and do it whatever it is he chooses to do it with certainty and conviction. And if it comes off, great. And if not, his teammates have got to be over to him saying, next one, mate, next one, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see the smile. We want to see the kung fu kick. We want to see
that.
The Bobby that we love. And you haven't seen that, have you? I mean, you're quite right in that, like, you can almost see that it's an effort for him, all of it, and he's trying things and they're not coming off. And He's just not Bobby, is he, at the moment?
No, and I think that's what you want from him. And I think something going for him, something going well for him early would help. I think him feel like, let's say he plays a great ball through to Mane, and Mane hits the post. I think then everyone remembering he just played a great ball through to Mane there, not that Mane hit the post, would help everyone, but it'd help him the most. So that's what I want to see from that. And then other than that, you look at the other two at the minute, Mane and Salah, absolutely pairing. And they're both due a performance at the Etihad. They've been unlucky. I think in general we haven't had the bounce of the ball there, and that's not me crying on about it. City were brilliant in the 2-1, but we go 1-0 up if the ball moves 12 more millimetres over the line. Company should be sent. Frankly, there's no other way of describing it. It should just be sent off for the one that he lashes in. And it's fine that he isn't. It's football, it happens. We all grow up and we all get beyond it. But even that day, we then come back from 1-0 down, we score that great goal and we're on top, and then they get one breakaway. And to be fair to Sane, he is clinical as anything. Right in front of us at the end of the match, the ball's bouncing around the penalty area and it just never drops to a Liverpool toe to make it 2-2. And we're due on from that one. Last season, the 4-0, we start really well and it's been forgotten.
Hit the post.
Yeah, better side for 20, and then they get the goal and it goes from there. And I think that the other thing that we're going to have to do is, if we do concede, we just need and this is why Henderson's important, a really good 10 after we concede. Because what I think's happened to both sides in this fixture in both directions across the last 3 years is at times the first goals hasn't just led to another, it's led to 2 more. The 4-1 that you're referring to, that Firmino scores, that gets out of hand. There's the one with the 5-0 when, all right, we're down to 10 men, that gets out of hand. The 3-1 for us last season, it's 3-0 in the blink of an eye, almost, that gets out of hand. The 4-3, where it's 1-1 at half time and we go 4-1 in 10 minutes because Anfield wants their blood, that gets out. So I think if we go behind the 10 minutes that follow, we've just got to go, right, let's just get to half time, get to the next phase and then rebuild.
And it will massively help. We've got massive for that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see what happens. Looking forward to it. It is something to look forward to. It is something to cheer about, to take your mind off everything else. If you are in Liverpool, please go and get a test. Please go and get involved. Let's get our city back to where we want it to be. That has been Talking Red.